Okay. Hmm. Strange. Okay. Lots of issues again. Trying to trying to get on. Okay. Lots of issues again. Trying to try that again. YouTube seemed to have changed a few things here. Unexpectedly, of course. As usual. Okay. Liquid Gal, Lawrence, Faye, Sharp, Lynn, Marie. Error. YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience something else. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I think we're probably okay. I seem to get that every week. And last week, by the way, I was having issues, and I was trying to figure out what it was. And surprise, surprise, it wasn't me. It was actually the hardware this time. So I sent it back, and I ordered in another capture card. So we'll see how that one works. And I'm going to need your help to let me know when we get going here if the audio and the video is good. And right now, tell me something good, Canada. Maybe at the end, or maybe after we go through a little bit of this trucking stuff, right? And the reason I get onto this trucking, because, okay, think back, we had the trucker convoy across Canada, and they were called Canadian heroes, the Canadian heroes that saved us, and thank God for the truckers and all this stuff, right? I'm not putting them down by all means. What happened was basically a miracle how that came together. But there's a little something else I would like to add here, that the truckers did not do that to protect our rights. The truckers did that to protect their rights to not have to get a shot to cross the border. It just happened that the Canadians jumped on board and joined in. And that's how that played out. Now, there's good truckers and there's bad truckers and there's all kinds of truckers. And they're no different than other people, all walks of life. There's good, bad, and otherwise. So, I just wanted to throw that out there, that it kind of morphed into something other than what the truckers originally started to do. And I'm thankful they did it. It worked out good for us. It didn't work out too good for Tamara and Chris, unfortunately. But there's a lot of truckers out there driving that shouldn't be on the road. And that's not just Canada. We're talking U.S., we're talking U.K., lots of places. But the gist of it is, like, I've done a lot of highway miles. I've got my 1,000,000 miles under my belt. I've been across Canada multiple times. I know all the shortcuts. I've been down the West Coast as far as California. I've been down the East Coast as far as New York. So I've covered a lot of the country. I've driven the 401 in Toronto. I've driven, like I say, the interstates, and I've covered a lot of ground. And so I've seen a lot of issues on the road. Liquid Geller, a bunch of other truckers. We love trucker drivers. They work hard away from family for a long time. Yeah, well, there's lots of other people who do that too. Different occupations. But anyways, I'm not demeaning the truckers. All I'm saying is that when this went down, it was originally a protest for them not being allowed to cross the border with their load because they wanted to have those forced shots. And it worked out good for all of us. And I am thankful, but I'm just saying that it was originally not quite that way. So right now there's a lot of chaos out there on the highways. And a lot of it is truck drivers. But I want to say I put a big but in there because these truck drivers are not the old good old boy truck drivers, you know, like that we're used to. There's a lot of new people in the country that are behind the wheels. So they're not the same. These new comers to the country, I'm going to try to be somewhat careful, not too much, but they come into the country. Those people, as Don Cherry would say, they come into the country and they jump in behind the wheel. They have very limited training and they shouldn't be on the road, even in a passenger vehicle, let alone behind tons of steel heading down the highways. So they're you cracked us out Asian name code. So anyways, it's yeah. I'm going to show you a couple of clips here. And that's why I say you're going to have to give me the heads up there if it's working okay or not, because you know my track record, right? So I just got to move this over here. We're going to do some video and hopefully it works out. We'll give the first one a shot and see what happens. I'm not sure where this one was. I think this was in Florida, the first one. It's only 16 seconds long, but you'll see at the end, you see the guy standing there and you'll understand who he's the driver. He was the driver. He did an illegal U-turn in the rig. You don't see the good old boys, truck drivers, Canada, U.S. doing illegal U-turns on the highway. Thought never crosses their mind, actually. So here we go. We'll give it a whirl. And where am I here? I got to bring up the video. I'll get out of the way. So that would be the truck driver standing there. And I hope the audio come through okay. If it did, I will carry on because I have a couple more here I'd like to show you. So that one there were, you got it, killed 3 people. So, not good. It was music, right on. Okay, so we're good to go. Let's do a couple more. I'm on a roll now. I got one right. I'll just scroll down here. Well, I guess that last one there, probably called the boss in and say, hey, that load's not going to make it today. So, you see what I'm saying here about these drivers. What was he doing parked on the tracks with that long load? He got the tractor ahead of the tracks apparently, but yeah, not good. So, what was the cause of those accidents? Not all of them, no. But I know that some of them, right now, are being caused here in this country and in the U.S. I'm going to show you this. This is at truckstopcanada.com. So, let me get rid of this here for a second. Truck driver training in Canada and the U.S., a scandal, still too widely tolerated. It says the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, the FMCSA, appears to be cleaning house in its official registry of truck driver training providers after mounting criticism over its lax oversight of non-compliant schools. This is in the U.S. and Canada, too. They're starting to finally get into this, eh? In April, two influential organizations, the Commercial Vehicle Training Association, CVTA, which represents private schools, and the National Association of Publicly Funded Truck Driver Schools, called out both the Department of Transportation and the FMCSA for failing to act. They described non-compliant training centers as a threat to the industry, accusing them of exploiting aspiring drivers, undermining legitimate institutions, and endangering public safety by putting undertrained drivers on the road. The situation feels all too familiar in Canada, especially in Ontario, where similar problems have surfaced, suggesting this is part of a broader North American trend. Until April 2025, only 4 schools had been removed from the training provider registry since 2023, 3 of them under emergency conditions. That bad, there's an emergency condition to shut them down, despite hundreds of complaints from citizens and state agencies. Under pressure, the FMCSA has stepped up its efforts. Nearly 60 driving schools were delisted from the TPR in recent weeks. The database is critical since 2022. Under the entry-level driver training rule, anyone seeking a commercial driver's license must attend a school listed in the registry. Martin Garcia, executive director of the NAP FTDS and owner of Houston-based training center, welcomed the FMCSA's action but pointed to troubling inconsistencies. According to him, 47 of the 57 schools removed were based in just 4 states: Michigan, Rhode Island, Ohio, and North Carolina. Well, that's 4 out of 50 states. That's not very good, indicating that many jurisdictions are not reporting their problem schools at all. Moreover, several delisted institutions have not offered CDL training for years. One claimed to have ceased operations as early as October 2022, shortly after the ELDT rules come into effect. Others, including trucking companies that once provided internal training, or community colleges now inactive, raising questions about whether all removals were voluntary or enforced. As of June of 2025, over 8,200 training providers remain listed on the TPR, including in-person, online, and mobile options. But many industry stakeholders believe much more needs to be done. Fast-track questionable programs that sell CDLs for fast cash are still a serious concern, especially in a climate where some new drivers, particularly newcomers or those who do not speak English, face increasing mistrust. Several Canadian provinces have also tightened their oversight of truck driving schools. In Ontario, despite the MELT, the mandatory entry-level training program, being in place since 2017, major inconsistencies in enforcement have led to the revocation of all private college approvals. To retain accreditation, schools must now submit a detailed training plan by July of 2025. In Alberta, MELT has been replaced by the new Class 1 learning pathway, backed by a $54 million investment over 3 years to enhance instruction quality and support recruitment. Schools must now meet strict requirements, including maximum student-to-instructor ratios, proper facilities, and clearly defined course content, both in class and in truck. Schools that fail to comply risk suspension or permanent delisting. In Manitoba, a sharp increase in registered schools since 2019 has led to stricter licensing criteria, including standards for facilities, insurance, instructor ratios, and curriculum. In contrast, Quebec has yet to implement mandatory training for future truck drivers, despite public commitments from Deputy Premier and Transport Minister Genevieve Guilbeault. Systemic laxity or lack of political will. These efforts show a broader attempt to restore integrity in a sector where foundational training is critical to public safety. Although some bad actors have been penalized, many drivers and industry professionals are calling for significantly more inspections and tougher, more dissuasive sanctions. Evidence from the road suggests that lax practices and even outright fraud in licensing and training persist. The blame does not lie solely with training centers. Some trucking companies hire in haste, exploiting every possible loophole, including those related to inadequate training. In both Canada and the U.S., the pressure is on for governments to take bolder action in a field where training quality directly impacts highway safety and, by extension, public safety. Properly trained commercial drivers isn't a luxury, it's a collective responsibility. Lives, our own and our children's, depend on it. So, I just decided to jump onto this issue because there's a lot of rigs on the road. More now, since they took the trains off years ago. And it's there's a lot of people coming into the country from parts of the world that are not very upright. Rules don't seem to apply to them. So, just a heads up, I got friends, good friends, truck drivers out in Vancouver. And a fellow I grew up with, years ago here. We hung out together all through our teens. His father was a truck driver. His brother's one of his brothers a truck driver. He's a truck driver. He's got a company outside of Calgary, I guess it is. So he's same age as me. I met him up at the truck stop in Edmonton, 118th Avenue, and we had a really good chat. And he said, "I don't know." He said, "I got truck drivers. I got tires to repair." He said, "What's wrong with these guys? They see something on the road and they run right over it. Now I got to buy tires for the rig." And they're not cheap. And he said at the time, he said, it's hard to find good drivers. So, I've had some near misses on the road. I've been caught up in elephant races, especially coming through the mountains. You get a passing lane, and there'll be a line of trucks, and one will pull out, and they'll go side by side all the way up until the passing lane ends, and then they'll pull back in, and then they'll do it again on the next one. And they think it's a joke. I get caught in the elephant races out in the prairies, a long line of trucks. And there was one woman just pulled out, and she was laughing, having a great time. She knew that I couldn't get by. She wouldn't let me by. This went on for miles and miles and miles. So, it is what it is. It's part of the stuff you deal with on the road. But when I see these rigs coming now, I know, I think it's Buffalo was an outfit out of Manitoba. Had a very bad reputation. In Surrey, there's another company out there. I forget what that one is. It slips me right now. It's been a while since I've been out there. They were known for Sikhs. I think it was owned by Sikhs. And they've got a bad reputation for driving. They just, I don't know what it is with them. So, Paul M. Avery, hello, room. Greetings from Gettysburg. Right on. Right on. You've been watching for a few years now. Right on. Thanks. But anyways, with these trucks, yeah, it's an ongoing deal there, right? And hopefully, it looks like they're cracking down on it. So it's going to take a while, because the ones that are on the road now, until DOT gets a hold of them, or whoever it is that's in charge of transport, it should be DOT, I think, gets them pulled over and starts checking their license. Maybe they'll see that it came out of those schools that were closed down. I don't know if that probably doesn't say that on their license, so they're probably got a green light now. Unfortunately. But another subject entirely different was, I gotta change over here on the screen on my other computer here or there. Now, this past weekend, it was like a step back in time, and I like it, because back in the day, things were much simpler and much more fun. We had a lot of fun back in the day. And this here is just not too far from my bush camp. I'm just going to hold this little poster up for a second so you can see it. And it is the Stanley Fair. So this fair is it's kind of hard to read there, but anyways, this is it ends today. It's August 15th, 16th, and 17th. And this fair is 175 years old. It was since 1851. Now this place is just about as blue conservative as you could possibly get anywhere in the country. They only went liberal. So this is since Confederation. I think they only went liberal one election. And that election was when Aaron O'Toole was the leader of the Conservatives. And I think they didn't vote liberal. They just didn't vote. They said there's no way they were going to vote for Aaron O'Toole. And I don't blame them. And he's just a skid mark on the history of the party, actually. Anyways, what I was getting to here, this is just some of their... This hasn't changed since 1851, a little bit, but not much. I mean, it's a step back in time. They have a replica kitchen from around Confederation. So you can almost smell Aunt Jane's molasses cookies. They have a crib tournament. There's Jean's Canteen home cooking, breakfast, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., homemade goodies. Bingo jackpot for $100. Plowman's Market, come and see and buy a variety of unique items by local vendors. They have a display of classic cars. It's the Fredericton Area British Automobile Club. They have cow patty bingo on sale at the gate. You get your cow patty bingo cards when you come through the gate. Then they have the Stanley Fair Dance. Whiskey Creek Revival is the band. Live music, Rick Morehouse and Dale DeLucre, Bernard Clarkson and Phil McGeehan. They have a youth talent show, the Saturday Plowman's Pub, Sunday Plowman's Pub. They have a cake auction. Of course, they have a barn where they get all kinds of agricultural exhibits and stuff. And for the kids, they got haunted house, Worlds Unbound, family glow dance, petting zoo. All the good stuff the kids should be growing up with, right? They're not sitting home in their parents' basement or their bedroom playing on the machines. They're out having fun. There's touch a truck for the kids. They can go see the big trucks and stuff and lay their hand on it and get to see them. And there's Nerf gun target shooting. They're teaching the kids Nerf gun target shooting. Doesn't get any better than that, eh? Here you go. Here you go, son. Here's your first gun, Nerf gun. Go out there and shoot that target. They have a scavenger hunt, and they have a horse pull. It's not politically correct out there. There's nobody from PETA showing up. They have a horse pull. They got the draft horses. They got the Clydes and Belgians. They're pretty much the main two breeds they have, I think, around here. There's another one, I can't think of the third one right off. And if you know anything about the horse pull, they have a drag that they set down and they put weight on it. And the horse it tries to pull its own weight, eh? And there's a distance. And then they measure it and there's a winner. And the horse gets a ribbon and, you know. So they actually still have the old horse pull. And, yeah. It's all good. It's all good fun. Everybody has a good time. Good pub, good food, good people, and it's a step back in time. And there's no outrageous prices. I think it's $10. What they say to get in, the fee. It was $20 to get in, $10 for kids under 12 and under 6 are free. So $20, you go in there and you have a blast. You're in there all morning for breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then the dance at night and hang around the pub and do what you want to do. And go to the truck or the horse pull. So it's still happening here. It's still happening here. That's why I like my bush camp, because that's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from where I am. So I missed it this year. I got busy doing other stuff, but that's going up in my camp. It'll be pinned on the wall, so I won't miss it next year. I knew it was around the middle of August. I know people that way, so out back, so I'd like to get out and see them too. A beer tent, Fred. No, it's no beer tent. It's the Plowman's Pub. Okay, even better than the tent. It's the Plowman's Pub, and they got the food in there, so it doesn't matter. If you're out in the tent, there's probably going to be some horse flies and deer flies around and stuff like that. You might not be too comfortable sitting in a tent out there trying to have a frosty. Fairs all around there. Well, that's Ontario, right? You're Southern Ontario. I'm sure you're kind of the same stuff. I don't know if you still have the horse pulls or not, but anyways, it's just something different, because they have one in the city here, and all it is just a carny, eh? They got rid of the they used to have the horse shows. They were the riding horses, and they'd come in and they'd do different things, and I think they would haul dirt into this big building for them, the sawdust and dirt. But I think they stopped that for some reason. And now they, I don't know what they do. See, people complain. These city people got nothing better to do than complain. Oh, we don't like those horses, smell bad. we would like to go in and we'd want to see a flower display or something. Well, you can do that out in somebody down the street, but you know what I mean? They always get their way for some reason. It's they just keep giving in to them. But not out in the bush out back on these small towns, right? And we guess no LGBT flags there. Good guess. No. It's kind of like two genders, like with the horses and the people. It's all two genders, and if anybody's confused, they don't hang around there. I don't think you could find one of those flags there. I don't think anybody would put one up. Hey, Bob, you see Agnes down there? She got one of them there flags out there. Should we go talk to her? Thought her kid was a little funny. So, yeah, where to get around town real quick, eh? Yeah. So, I forget what else, if there's anything else I had here that I'm going to look at. I could bring something up. What do we have? What's been on the menu here lately for issues? Highland Games were a week ago. Yeah, they had the Highland Games here too. I've never gone to them. It'd probably be a pretty good time. I'm still trying to get some stuff done, so you know, I was hauling planks there yesterday to finish a platform so I could put up a mini barn tool shed, swatting deer flies while I was doing it. I had a 12-foot plank in one hand, 2x6 12-footer, and swatting deer flies with my other hand. It's quite a trick. Couldn't swing the 12-foot plank fast enough to get the deer flies, so I had to use my hand. Holy cow. This oh my. Where are we here? Are you getting some rain there, right? We got a little sprinkle here, but not enough. We got a little bit the other day, but not enough. We're gonna need a lot. They backed off on those a little bit. What they did, you see, I don't know, you probably caught this. I know you folks are on top of things here, but New Brunswick, the Susan Holt, that frumpy little premier we got, changed her wording on the forestry ban. She said, well, we're banning, it's not that we're worried about people starting fires. We're concerned that if somebody injures himself, if they break their leg or something. We don't have the response team, the emergency work, medical workers, whatever, to come, EMT to come get them. So you'd be stuck out there in the woods. Well, okay, because they're all busy somewhere else. So what if you're not in the woods and you break your leg? You still know nobody going to come get you? Or, anyways, it's very lame brain excuse. She's trying to backtrack. It's not flying. You know, it's stupid is as stupid does, and she don't get any dumber than her. How do these people get elected? I do not know. That means the people are stupid. That's scary. I'm surrounded by stupid people. But I see them all day. They say that, I just seen something about that. majority now are stupid. I believe it. So, the majority of people out there, when you go out through the day, are stupid. Something changed back around 2022, 2021, 2022. Maybe I guess maybe the stupid people just seem to feel freer to be stupid. Bill, good point. But they are. I look at people and I think, well, that's just stupid. You know? I've had 2 incidents in the last week. I've had 3, actually. One, I was turning left on a green light in a 50-kilometer-an-hour zone, and there's a pickup I see coming at me. He was quite a ways away. I bet you he was doing 80, 90, 100K. He was going to hit me broadside. Wasn't going to touch his brakes. He was just going to run into me. I punched the gas to get out of the way. Well, what a jerk. And then I pulled out of the Ford dealership. Nothing coming on my right, and the traffic stopped at a red light on my left. I got halfway across. I got into the second lane, taking my left-hand turn, and this little white car with this woman driving it, she had that thing floored. She coming right at the side of me. She wasn't going to stop. I hit the gas to get out of the way. I was telling these people the other day, because I did a little job for them, and when I left their place, here comes the flying carpet coming out of Mickey D's in a van. He's coming straight at the side of me. I'm in the center lane. I had to hit the gas to get out of his way. Like, what's up with these people? I mean, that's stupid. Why would you just want to run into the side of a truck? So, Emma, I had that happen as a pedestrian. Like, I was invisible to them. Man, you gotta be careful out there, don't you, if you're a pedestrian. They're not watching. Everybody's in a hurry now. I don't know what it is, but they're all in a big hurry. They want to get somewhere fast for some reason, but you know what? If they run into the side of a truck, they're not going to get there fast. They might even get hurt. I guess they count on their airbags and their insurance. So, I don't know what it is, but it is. It's not just truck drivers. There's a lot more passenger vehicles on the road, and they're not. There's no traffic control, and they won't put red light cameras in here. So, Phil, as a motorbike rider, I'm extra careful. You gotta be. My buddy here, a good buddy, he's got a Harley. He's 72 years old, and he only laid it down once, and he's been riding since he was 18, I think. So, pretty good. He slid into the side of a car. She ran a red light in front of him, so. Oh, yeah. And we drive together. I'll be in his truck when he's driving. He's in my truck when I'm driving. And we both feel comfortable with each other's driving because we've got a lot of miles behind us. And a lot of years of accident-free, knock on wood. So, anyways, you see what's going on. You see what's going on with the Air Canada strike. And look who's in charge in the government. The federal jobs minister. She was Minister of Health at the beginning of the global crap show. Patty Hydu. She's a liar and she's stupid. Speaking of stupid, here's one. She is stupid. I'll put her on here. 2 minutes and 39 seconds. I don't know. Phil, they're high and speeding and texting. Yeah. Oh, they're sitting at green lights. Light turns green. They're on their phone playing around. This Patty Hydu. I'm going to bring this up because just to show you what. And this blew up in her face. This backfired big time. The union said, like hell, we're going to do that. We're not listening to you. So here's Patty Hydo.
Pleasure to be with you here today on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. After 8 months of negotiations and weeks of intensive mediation, Air Canada and the Canadian Union of Public Employees flight attendants were unable to reach a tentative agreement. The government firmly believes that the best deals are reached by the parties at the bargaining table, and we will never stop believing that. It's not easy, but when parties put in the hard work at the table, Canadians are better off as a result. In this instance, and despite resolution on a number of key items, this dispute will not be resolved quickly enough. And the impact of the work stoppage at Air Canada that began early this morning is already being felt by travelers. This is causing significant harm and has negative impacts on Canadians and the Canadian economy. It impedes the movement of passengers and critical cargo, such as pharmaceuticals, and has trans thousands of Canadians abroad, making it extremely costly and sometimes impossible to book new flights. Canadians have already sacrificed a lot in this uncertain economy, and this labor disruption is adding to their worries and financial burdens. As Minister of Labour, I have exercised my authorities under Section 107 of the Canadian Labour Code to direct the Canada Industrial Relations Board to order the parties to resume and continue their operations and duties in order to secure industrial peace and protect the interests of Canada, Canadians, and the economy. I've also asked the board to assist the parties in reaching a settlement of the outstanding terms of their collective agreement by imposing final and binding arbitration, and to extend the terms of the existing collective agreement until a new one is determined by the arbitrator. Flight attendants play a critical role in getting Canadians to where they need to go safely, and they deserve to be compensated and treated fairly at all times. My job as Minister of Labour isn't to take sides during labour disputes. It's to give the parties the tools that they need to reach a fair and timely agreement while keeping the best interests of Canadians at heart. And that's why I intervened today. Canada's economy has seen unprecedented attacks on trade and significant tariff actions. Amid these challenges, Canadians have been stepping up for months to support their friends and their neighbours and their local communities. In a year where Canadian businesses and families have faced too much disruption and uncertainty, they shouldn't have to shoulder another blow. We will not leave them behind.
So, Patty's not. She's not going to pick sides. She just did. There she goes, lying again. Now, the funny part is the people voted, the unions rather, voted Liberal. And this goes way back when Trudeau was first running. I went to, I was talking to my business manager at the Pipe Fitters Hall. I was in his office and we were talking, and he showed me a picture of his daughter shaking Trudeau's hand. I said, that's not good. Oh no, he said, we got to vote Liberal. All the pipe fitters and welders and plumbers, we got to vote Liberal. And I said, why? Because we won't get any pipelines if we don't. I said, what are you talking about? He said, we got to get Harper out and get Trudeau in because he promised pipelines. I said, did he? Really? Well, we never got any pipelines. Pretty much 10 years, no pipelines. We still don't have any pipelines. And they were throwing it out there. Got to vote Liberal. Got to get those pipelines Carney says he's going to put in pipelines, or okay pipelines rather, and anyways, here we are, and they're forcing the unions back to work. That come right from Ottawa, from our national business manager, is what that was. And you know how they work. When you get up that high in the unions, somebody's stuffing money in your pockets because they want all those votes. So, and that money, a little bit of that spills down to the other business managers in the provinces, right? It's all about money. And the unions are on the take. It's no surprise. But they're on the wrong side. And they're not smart enough to realize it. Let's see if I can find that one. See if I can find that, if I can bring that up. Sorry. Yeah, this is it here. See if I can get the video. Here it is here. So I think they pissed off the unions. So it seems everything they touch goes all to crap. So check this one out. If you haven't seen it yet, this is pretty good. This is what I call a good business manager. So I love it. So the stewardesses and stewards, they're only getting paid for once the door closes on the plane until the door opens, but they're putting a lot of hours, something like, what was it, 37 hours a month, I think, unpaid. Not fair at all. So hey, they deserve to be paid for the hours they're there. They're on the job, and they're in there prepping the plane for the passengers, and yeah. I just seen one there. They said that they had all shown up for work and the flight was canceled, so they had to go home, and they never got paid for that, for show up. No, they treated horrible. And this has been going on for ever. So they need an agreement. They need to be treated like everybody else. So, I mean, when I was out in the field working on the projects, if we were shut down for any reason, like if we went in and there's going to be, say we're out in the refinery and there's lightning storms coming through, it's not a good place to be up in the pipe racks in the middle of an electrical storm. So we would be brought into the lunchroom and we'd sit there and we'd have to stay for 3 hours sitting in the lunchroom, and then we go home and get paid for the day. So just one instance, that's how it should be. And these gals and guys working those planes, they deserve the treatment like everybody else. They shouldn't. That's basically slave labor. They're in there working for nothing. The airlines are getting paid, and we're paying the airlines. That's Air Canada. And that's a horrible airline too. So I've never been treated as bad as I have on Air Canada. But maybe because they're cranky because they're not getting paid. I would think that would have something to do with it. Phil, congratulations, buddy. My second biopsy result, no cancer. Good for you. Right on. That's a relief, eh? A lot of pressure off you there, man. Good for you. Boy. Oh, can't wait to vote my way out of Canada. I don't blame you one bit. I don't blame you one bit. I'm stuck here in New Brunswick, and there's a lot of stupid people here. We got a Liberal Premier. 50% at least voted Liberal federally. I don't get that. But I think it was split fairly evenly. I think there's a little more Liberal than Conservative, but it's beside the point, excuse me. It's beside the point because where they got their head stuck. Because if they don't know what was going on the last while with Trudeau, but I guess they figured Carney was a new man and he was going to change everything, even though he kept all the same cabinet ministers pretty much. Brought in a few that are even worse. So, and I was looking up today out of curiosity. Seems it's George Soros' birthday today. 95 years old. There's, I didn't go for a walk in the woods, no. 95 years old. Okay, George Soros. I wonder, what's he, is he getting any ties with Carney? Mark Carney? Is George Soros getting any ties? Well, I did a little research and I ended up on Grok. And Grok is, you gotta watch it if you're using Grok, because sometimes when I get an answer, I'll say, no, that's not quite what I asked. And it will come back and, okay, and it would give me the answer, kind of what I was looking for. So, you gotta, watch it. So anyways, I asked about Carney and Soros. And it said, well, there's no direct connection, but although they are along the same lines and they were both trying to stop Brexit, and they were both involved in with the UN and the climate scam, and so there were ties, but they weren't together. It's like Carney likes to maybe keep these people at arm's distance in public or whatever, so they can't be tied in completely. But what I did find out was Diane Fox Carney, Mark Carney's wife, is very high up in the Eurasia group, and so is Soros. So they're working together. So Carney's wife and George Soros in the Eurasia group. So there's a little connection there, isn't there? Because what'd you do today, dear? Well, George and I had a talk. What'd you talk about? Right? So there's your connection. See, I had to wiggle that out of Grok because at first they didn't want to give me that information. Lawrence Alex is taking over. Yeah, I think he's breaking the place. So he's made some bad investments. I seen on Glenn Beck today. So, Lawrence Trudeau had very close ties to Soros. Yes, well, Chrystia Freeland did his biography, right? So, that was the other thing, too. See, he's godfather to Chrystia Freeland's son. I think it's her son. And they're close. Soros is in it. They're all in it together. Of course they are. So, yeah. The snakes all gather together, right? And the worst part is, there were some red flags during that last election. But these people that voted for him would not listen. Well, first of all, they just watch the media, right? So, like mainstream media, and so they're getting all their propaganda and all their BS, and a lot of stuff omitted. Not so much lies. Well, some of it's lies, but some of it's just by omission, right? And they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And these are the type of people that won't admit it. They won't say, yeah, no, I guess I voted the wrong way, or no, I shouldn't have trusted him, or I shouldn't, anything like that. No, they're still watching CBC News. Thinking, well, he's doing good. He said that he's going to do this. He said he's going to do that. And, oh, yeah, right on. What's he done? They can't answer that because he hasn't done anything. So here we are. The unions are turning on him. When the Liberals lose the unions and the NDP lose the unions, and the Conservative leaders saying we got to get pipelines built, and I haven't heard, noticed Pierre's statements yet on the strike, on the airline strike. He might have already come out and commented on that. So. Your best man in Kelowna, Plant Boy, found on a long weekend, died at home. That's not good. Some of this stuff's showing up now. That's too bad. If they had 4 dead friends show up on Facebook Messenger on your computer today, they're dropping. Remember they said it was going to be probably 2025, like a few years before these things really start showing up big time. And I just seen, I don't sure where I seen it today online, that a lot of the stuff is getting missed by the doctors because it's not showing up on any tests, these small particles and small fibers or whatever they are. And during exercise or work, even sometimes in sleep, that's when the heart is giving out. So gotta be careful on YouTube. I'll get the blue box at the bottom. I hate that blue box. Quite a few of the videos I watch, you got a blue box underneath them. Phil, yeah, suspecting the. Yep. We're much closer to Christ's return than we think. Did you notice? I watched a good little video today. I thought, well, this sounds a little bit weird, but no, I'm going to watch it because it said it was about, do you find that the time has sped up? And it's funny because I was telling people that too. I said, it just seems like time sped up for some reason. Like our garbage day is on Friday and it goes out Thursday night, and I take my neighbors, he's 96, he's not that good, so I take theirs out for them, and I told them, I said, it's Thursday again already. It's like, where'd the week go? And she said, I know, it's crazy. And I've had other people say, man, I can't believe how fast the time's going. Well, for one thing, the guy brought out a pretty good point. He said two things. One is spending time online. And I agree with that. It kills a lot of time. Today I was working trying to get this new capture card set up. It was 3 hours later, and I'm thinking, oh, there goes the morning. And last week after the live stream, I was trying to see what was going on with the other one. I was up till midnight, and I couldn't believe it. I looked at the clock, and I said, wow, it's midnight. And I didn't get anywhere. And actually I did. It was at the last minute. I thought, I'm going to try a test. And I did a little test on it. It only took me a few seconds to do it. I unplugged one cord and plugged it back in. I had audio. And then the audio quit. And it's there. It's not the computer, too. It's fairly new. So it's the box. So I sent it back, got a new one. But time was gone. And the other thing he said, Christ said that when it gets close to the end times, the days will be shorter. And I said, wow, that's interesting. Yeah. And he also said that the earth has sped up, but only like a few milliseconds or something. It's nothing noticeable. It's not like minutes or whatever, but milliseconds. But anyways, those three things. But the internet, what a waste of time sometimes. And when I get on there and I have issues with computers and start trying to figure out what's going on, hours go by before I even notice it. Well, I've just lost half a day of my life I don't get back. So, like he was saying, get outside, get into doing stuff. It's also, he said, it's almost like when you're in the zone when you're working. And that's the other thing. You get working, doing something, all of a sudden like, wow, it's lunchtime, or it's almost, it's getting, late in the day. Because you're concentrating on what you're doing and you don't notice the time. But the internet or the computers or whatever is eating up a lot of people's times on their phones. So just gotta stay away from the internet, the phone, and all that stuff more, and get stuff done and accomplish things I need to be done. And it's too hot outside, 98 degrees. Now, we were just smoking hot here too. Yesterday I could hardly breathe. I stepped outside for the wood smoke. I couldn't believe it. I had to go fill the truck up with gas, and yeah, I'd stand out there at the pumps. I was down to a quarter tank, so it took quite a bit. I was there a bit. Wow. And then I went out to my other place there, and it's a different valley, and it was good on the way out. And then when I got out there, the smoke was coming down that river valley too. So both river valleys, the smoke was drifting through here pretty heavy. That's from over north. That's a long ways away, those fires, but anyways, it's coming right down the valley. I thought it was a fire close. There was that much smoke and it was that strong. And actually it was hard on my throat when I was breathing, in my nose. It was pretty heavy. So I think most of them are under control here now. What else we got? Marie, time faster because we are old. Well, he said that too, that when you're older you think the time's going faster because you're counting your years or days or whatever. I know, but that's another point that he brought up too, you're right. Lynn is 98, but it's a dry hot, isn't it? Or do you have the humidity there? You're pretty close to the ocean, so you probably You probably might have some humidity in your neighborhood there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in Tom Marazzo, another Jew hater. It is humid too, humid as hell. That's hard. That's what does you in, is the humidity. So, Tom Marazzo, yeah, I kind of lost it with Tom Marazzo too, just over the last few weeks actually. I don't bother listening to him anymore. Oh. Yeah, it's Gulf of Mexico, or no, Gulf of America. Sorry, Gulf of America. I gotta watch myself. It's it could get pretty steamy around there, I'm sure. Trees all summer with pole saw. That doesn't sound like much fun. I don't like pole saws. I got one. I don't like it. I tried to leave that in the shed as much as possible. Pulling on that, that's hard. Unless you got an electric one. Or gas powered rather than electric. Or electric. I was looking at those 11, I think they're 11-inch blade chainsaw on the pole. 64 Fahrenheit in Cornwall. I seen there was some cold air coming down your way, Faye. No. Yeah. Well, it's cooled off here a bit. We were over 30 degrees centigrade. That'd be up around 90, just about, where'd you go? Lynn, I think you said 92. That's pretty much what that is, I think. 30 degrees, 60, yeah, 92 Fahrenheit. And humid. Yeah. Just step outside and melt. Manual pole saw, that's a workout. What's that, Phil? The scammers show up on your lawn now and declare that their locator says that their cell phone is in your house and they try to get in. Well, that wouldn't work too good here. Only 21 here in the Great White North. Yeah, I don't think it's right now. I think we're down. Where are we at? Where are we at? 16 degrees right here, right now. That's getting down. I don't know what it's going to be overnight, but if we're at 16 now, 15 now with light rain, it's going down to 11 degrees. That'll be 56 degrees Fahrenheit, Lynn. That would probably feel cold to you. 56. My poor watermelons are going to be shivering. Actually, they're not even showing up yet, so I'm not getting any this year. Where's Lawrence? Keep my wife in your prayers. She may be going through her third bout with cancer in 3 years. Extreme pain. Oh, it's terrible, Lawrence. I'm very sorry to hear that, man. Yeah. There's a lot of it, eh? That's a rough one. It is. Really rough one. I don't know. I say they're a little better at treating it now. I don't know if they are. I don't know. So my doctor, he's not going to be. Well, I don't know. I'm going to say he's not going to be impressed, but I'm sure he's going to understand. I got to go back and see him. Because he gave me these, first of all, he tried to get me on statins. I told him I didn't need them. but he wanted me to take them. So I was back in about 6 months later. He said, I'll renew that prescription. I said, what? What are you talking about? He said, for the statins. I said, I'm not taking them. What? I said, no, I haven't taken them. Why? I said, well, because I don't think I need them. So, anyways, he was on his cholesterol kick. So then he wanted to put me on this allopurinol for gout, to stop the gout. And he said, if I prescribe these, will you take them? I said, yeah, I'll take them. He said, I'm not trying to push pills on you. I said, okay. So I'll take them. I got an allergic reaction to them. So now I gotta go back and say, nah, not taking them. I got an allergic reaction. So he's not making any money on prescriptions on me. So, Phil, don't take it for it. No. And when you stop the statins too. Doing your own research, yeah. Hey, I asked him, I said, what are the side effects? Oh, there's no side effects. Ah, that's the only pill out there that doesn't have side effects. Right. For every effect is a side effect. At least one. So, Emma, I heard of Dr. Ken Berry regarding gout. No, I haven't. Ken Berry. I got a pen right here, actually, and a piece of paper, too. I'll check him out. Thank you. Berry, B-E. Eat wild berries, blueberries. Yeah, cherries are good. I told him, I said, you know, first of all, I said, I had blood work done. What are the results? Oh, yeah, I was going to look up that, he said. I was just going to look that up. Okay. So he looked and he says, well, here's your good cholesterol and here's your bad cholesterol, and these are the numbers. And yeah, okay, yeah. I said, what are the numbers on the blood work before the last one? Oh, I'll look and see. I had to tell him to do that. So he looked it up and he says, oh, it's your bad cholesterol's down a bit. Not a lot, but it's heading in the right direction. I said, yeah. See, no statins, right? And I said, when your dad was my doctor, his dad was all bent over, right? He was getting up in age, so his back, he bent over quite a bit. I said, your dad told me to get walking. He said, if I can walk, you can walk. He said, I walk every day on the track. And I said, okay. And I said, that brought my cholesterol right down. So, I was surprised, no mask. I went in, I'm looking for the mask sign, right? Mandatory masking, because he's got him strapped on pretty tight. I'm looking around, no mask. I'm the only one in the waiting room. He comes out, come on in, no mask on. Good, we're improving on some things here. Keto and carnivores can increase it. Yeah, well, I'm pretty hard on the red meat. Sometimes the suds, I had to cut that out. So, Sharpie, you don't trust in doctors. Well, you can't put all your faith in them, that's for sure. They're human. And they're in it for the money. That's the difference. The newer generation of doctors, especially when their parents were doctors, the older doctors were in there for the patients. A lot of the newer ones are in there for the money. That makes a big difference. So, called the family doctor recently just to find out that being healthy gets you kicked off his patient list. Well, he's not making any money off you. That's the problem, eh? So, It means you're doing something right. And some of it's genetic, like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. The thing is see, there's so much research available now online. It never used to be that way. They don't count on you doing research on something, but when a doctor says there's no side effects, that's when I started doing research. Maria, you gotta see a stranger for your 50-year checkup. Well, I can't always get a doctor here, so I got one. I'm one of the lucky ones. My buddy, he's got no doctor. I said, well, he said, I'm on the waiting list. I said, how long have you been on there? I don't know. He said, maybe 5 years. 5 years? I said, haven't you called in? They probably don't even know you're still alive. They probably took you off. So, man, you had house calls for your boyfriend because he was bedridden. Even the dentist. Wow. See, that's the difference with the U.S. and Canada. We haven't had a house calls here since probably the 50s. So, 90 years ago. Dino, BC is really bad, up to 9 years. Stupid NDP. Oh, I don't miss British Columbia. The politics out there was just horrible. They're no better here. We don't have NDP. They ran them out. But the Liberals took the NDPers in. So, it's a mishmash, I guess. Liberals and NDP. Here's on Medicare and Medicaid. I'm not familiar with how that works. I guess that's state run, is it? Yeah, it's state run, is it, instead of private? John Renault, I would only recognize my doctor by the back of his head, since that's all I see as he asks the computer what to do. Well, mine listens to me. I said, do you want to check my blood work? Oh, yeah. Why don't you compare it to the last one? Yeah, I can do that. I'll look that up. He never took my blood pressure. They used to do that as soon as you went in. The nurse would do that, actually. Sit down and they take your blood pressure. They don't want you dropping right there in the chair in the office, right? But now they don't bother. Maybe they had somebody drop from the poke that it's no big deal now. With all the imports in GP, no one has a family doctor. No. True enough. We got a few doctors from overseas here. I was at Emerge there about maybe close to a year ago now. And it was a British doctor. I was quite surprised they allowed somebody in from jolly old England. Wow. I figured they'd be banned. They'd have to come in from the Middle East, Pakistan or something. I had a Chinese doctor up in Calgary, and his game, it was like the waiting room was always full, but you didn't wait long. They were just coming in one door, going into the office and coming out, heading out back out the door again with a prescription in hand, right? So what he would do, if you had an issue, he would start you on the lowest dose of medication that he could get for that issue, and then he'd say, I want to see you in 2 weeks. You come back in 2 weeks. How's that doing? Well, it's not really doing anything. Okay, I'm going to bump that up a bit. I want to see you in 2 weeks. Yeah. How's that working? No. Well, I'm gonna try something different. We'll try this. I'll start you on a low dose first. I'll see you in 2 weeks. He was doing that to everybody. And that's all he was doing, was playing with people's health to make money. Right now, those, he wasn't giving you stuff that was going to be too strong, that's for sure. But he wasn't giving me anything that was going to help either. So, unbelievable. Lawrence last house call for us when I was about 8 years old. That's over 54 years ago, yeah. Yeah. The closest they get to a house call now is they say, what's your Medicare number and your address? Have a seat. Apparently, got an imported family doctor renting from me. He's not a happy camper working for AHS. Yeah, well, gotta take his lumps, I guess. He's got nothing else he can do. My doctor in Vancouver, though, I had a good doctor there. And he sent me for, I forget what it was, but I forget what it was. It was some test, and it was only 2 blocks away. He said, just go over there, take this slip and go over there, and they'll do the test for you. And they'll send me back the results. Okay. It was a private setup, and it was covered by BC Health. So that was strange. Oh, an emergency room family doctor, that's a rough go, that one. Phil, my doctor, Polish, used to be Chinese woman. Boggles my mind. It's a crazy world. Shared practice. They also have intern doctors seeing people. That's something they're doing here too at the at his office. There's 2 doctors there. Maybe there's a third one, but they have it open in the evening, and there's a doctor there, a young, tall, blonde doctor, and she'll see people that are patients of the other doctors. So she does an evening shift, and I was in to see her. I was very impressed. So that was surprised me that they're doing that. So that's good. So, anyways, I think what we'll do is I'm going to just say thank you again, everybody, for joining in. My, how the time flies. I told you time was going faster. So, once again, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful, healthy week. And we're still in summer, so we're going to enjoy it while it's still here, because, you know, when it changes pretty quick. I think we're going to have a late summer again because the spring drug on so long. So we'll see if I'm right on that. Monday's the big day for Pierre, the by-election in Alberta. See how he does. So, yeah, it's great seeing you all on here. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. We'll do it again next week. Bye for now, and God bless.